This is the Tyler Morgan Show on Relentless Dairy Media Network.
Welcome to the land of bourbon and bad decisions, where the nights are long and the truth cuts deep. Voices rise against the tide with clear intentions in the place where freedom never sleeps. Echoes of the past in the halls of tomorrow. The light will chase away the whispers of sorrow. Stand tall now. While the fight's just beginning, with every word the fire keeps winning. After all, you got a message for the nation, raising up the flag with no hesitation. Through the storm, the fire burns bright. On the edge of reason, we defend our rights.
Welcome back to Land of Bourbon and Bad Decisions. This is the Tyler Morgan Show, live on twitch.tv/Tyler Morgan Show, or maybe you're checking this out later on YouTube, youtube.com/the Tyler Morgan Show. Please be sure to like, hit the bell for notifications, subscribe, all that happy horse pooey. Also on podcast, pretty much anywhere you can get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, all of that. Check it out. Listen, subscribe, rate, review, and share to your little heart's content. Before I get started with all the wild and wacky nonsense that has been going on for the last few days in the worlds of social media and the news, let me tell you about, what am I going to tell you about? How about taking care of your man-mains? Yes, that's right. If you're going to have a beard like me, you got to take care of it. If you're going to take care of it, you have to have great product, and I use beard oils and other products from bluecollarbeardsman.com. Check them out for the finest lineup of beard oils. These are handcrafted scents and a well-formulated oil that will condition your beard, your mustache, your goatee, your facial scruff, your dirt stash, if that's what you're going for. Because I know guys who will not grow a beard because they get all itchy and everything underneath. And part of that is you're not using good product that conditions your skin and hair, and ends up with, beard hair with its brittle, and it breaks off. You end up with a mouthful of dental floss whenever you're trying to eat, what have you. You shed like a sheepdog. But check out their line of products of oils, beard butters, beard washes, beard conditioners. You can even get beard combs and apparel to show your support of the company. Check them out. If you subscribe, you get a scent of the month every month. These are special limited run scents that come to you, shipped straight to your residence. And every month is something different. And usually they go out of their way to find a way to honor some different type of blue collar worker. These are, as they say, beard oils that work as hard as you do. Check them out today, bluecollarbeardsman.com. All right. Click the right button to hide that. All right. So the two big things that have been blowing up in the social media world have been Real ID and the SAVE Act. Before I get into the SAVE Act, I'm going to go into Real ID. Real ID was a measure passed way back in the long ago days of 2005. Following 9/11, the newly minted Department of Homeland Security decided that they need to push for a national standard for identification cards, be it a state ID, be it a driver's license, what have you. And so through Congress, uh, Homeland Homeland Security passed Real ID. And Real ID, again, is a centralized standard of verifying the identity of a person getting an ID card. And it's all well and good. And, for years, there's been the push that, to fly or do anything else where we want to know 100% who is on this aircraft, who was on this boat, that, or in my case, when I drove over the road to go to sensitive areas such as, I don't know, a nuclear power plant. And I say that specifically because when I drove over the road, I pulled flatbed and I had to take a load of preformed concrete fixtures to a nuclear power plant that was working on site waste storage. And I don't know what the forms were being used for. I'm presuming it was to create a barrier in case one of the storage compartments sprung a leak. Give a it'd be used as a barrier channel to prevent any of that waste from getting into the nearby Mississippi River. I don't know for sure, but before I even was dispatched on that load, they had to have, copy of my driver's license, social security card, all of this stuff that they were using to verify that I was who I said I was. And then, still had to present my ID card with my, little mini security clearance to the security personnel. And then I got a lovely armed escort around the nuclear power plant facility to the construction site where I was offloaded and then under armed escort, delivered back to the gate to go about my day. So there was a benefit, for, the national security apparatus to be able to verify 100% who I was. But fast forward again, this was in 2017, 2018, somewhere in that ballpark. But as time was going on, states have slowly been working into phasing out their ID card system and phasing in Real ID. And I think it's later this year in Missouri that Real ID 100% takes effect. That will be the only identity card you can get, which is fine. We don't have an issue with that. But what people are freaking out about currently is that, was it yesterday or the day before? I believe it was yesterday. On Friday, the 11th, Kristi Noem, the Homeland Secretary, came out and said that as of May of this year, you will be unable to fly unless you have Real ID. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some people who will be grandfathered in because their current not Real ID identification cards, be it, again, driver's license, state ID, what have you, hasn't expired, so they haven't gotten the new one yet. And this has all of right-wing Twitter, all of Twitter. because, oh my God, how am I going to be able to fly? There's 90 million people in America that don't have real ID. How are they going to fly? Okay, well, first off, calm down. Now, I would imagine there's going to be checks in place so that way people who do not yet have real ID will still be able to access flights. However, it may take longer. There may be more hoops to jump through to verify who they say they are. Be it when they submit their identification, when they go to pick up their tickets from the ticket counter, maybe instead of just their driver's license, they have to have their social security card. And so it will take longer. Kind of like when TSA took over for security at the airports. It's not that it became more difficult and more rigorous to get through security. It was that it suddenly just it takes longer because you have government bureaucrats, not airport personnel who have a vested interest in moving people quickly and efficiently through security. Now you have government actuaries who do not have the same incentives. But again, this is one of those times where I find myself straddling that fine line between libertarianism and, you know, supporting a government doing what a government should, and that's ensuring the safety and welfare of its people. Or, I mean, we can all agree that the government that governs least governs best. But when we have all sorts of discussions on voter registrations and what the federal government should have the power to do, and this, that, and the other, we always seem to balk when it comes to things that is well within the scope of the federal government, but it inconveniences us. Well, as a conservative, I can't get behind the government doing X, Y, and Z because blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, would you agree that that's within the scope of what the federal government should be able to do? Well, yes. So why are you balking at the government doing what's within the government scope? For instance, if we found ourselves in World War III and with our all voluntary service, we didn't have enough bodies to go fight that war. Personally, I am not 100% for the draft. However, I believe it is within the scope of the government, within that idea that in order to preserve our security and our general welfare, that if we did have to prosecute a war that we did not have the bodies available to go fight, that we should reinstitute the draft and draft, able-bodied young men. And you know what? If you're going to allow women into combat roles, we should allow for the draft of able-bodied young women. I know there are people who will get their panties all in a bunch because I said that if we're going to allow women into the draft or allow women into combat roles, they should be able to be drafted as well to fill those much needed combat roles. But I digress. Again, it's something that's within the scope of the federal government. to prosecute wars and maintain our national security, we have the, you know, the selective service. And again, it's one of those things that it straddles the line. Should we, in a time of peace, be able to just go, hey, we picked your number out of a hat, go to the draft board and start doing what you need to be able to serve? No, not at all. I mean, we had people at the start of the Iraq and Afghan wars who were in the IRR, the inactive ready reserve. These are people who are recent retirees, recently ETS'd out of the military, in time of service. They did their time, they got out. But the Army, well, the U.S. government has this really, really funny system of when you first serve, you owe them 8 years. Whether you do a, 6 years in reserve component, and then you do 2 years of inactive ready reserve, or you do 4 years of active service followed by 4 years of the IRR. Either way, they do have a pool of people who have gotten out, or again, who are, fairly high ranked, who have retired, and should we need to create a new brigade, you have retired colonels and sergeants major that they can go, hey, we're standing up a new brigade. We don't have enough colonels and sergeants major to fill, brigade leadership roles, or retired light colonels to fill battalion roles, and sergeants major who need to fill those roles as well. You know, we have that available to be able to, again, to draw from resources that wouldn't necessarily be available through those who are currently serving. And it's like a mini draft. Again, my father-in-law is a retired aviator. Well, okay, he didn't retire from the Navy as an aviator. He served during Vietnam as an aviator. And when the wars kicked off, he actually got a notice from the Department of the Navy that, hey, we need to recall you because we need pilots. Of course, he had a number of heart issues that, caused him to be medically ineligible to fly anymore. And so he kind of said, no, here's all the heart stuff I've had happen since Vietnam. And so he didn't get recalled. But yeah, these are, the crazy times that, again, federal government has that ability to reach into your lives and become an inconvenience. And it's not a violation of the Constitution. It's not a violation of your rights. And so, again, the real ID thing, I do not feel. Now, I could be wrong. I 100% admit that. I could be wrong. There could be people who have a million and one reasons why I'm wrong, and I would love to hear them. And, maybe you'll change my mind. Maybe I'll be like, okay, well, there's a million and one reasons why we disagree. And here's my, my rebuttals to your disagreements. But I think it's a conversation that's well worth having. But we saw what happened on 9/11. What happens when 3 planes are flown into 3 buildings and the 4th is hijacked, and the passengers over overthrew the hijackers and sacrificed themselves to prevent another tragic attack on the U.S. Capitol, whether it was the Capitol building itself, whether it was the White House. You know, we they saved countless lives through their sacrifice. But if we have a way to verify 100% who is, again, getting on these craft, which are regulated by the federal government, whether it be a cruise ship, whether it be, a barge worker. I mean, ask anyone who's ever had to get a TWIC card to be able to go into our ports of entry to, you know, haul shipping containers or other products that are being shipped in. And, you know, you have to go through the background check for that. These ports of entry are not run by the U.S. government, but Homeland Security has put in place a system that pre-vets commercial vehicle operators who are going into these ports. I know the average person has not had to deal with that. So the average person doesn't look at that as being some sort of big infringement. Ask any commercial motor vehicle operator who has their hazmat card, their hazmat endorsement. That's not a state endorsement. That is a federal Department of Transportation endorsement. And, they have to do fingerprints and criminal background check, not just, check their driving record. What's the I could not tell you what the what level of crime is a disqualifier from getting a hazmat card, but the federal government, if they're going to entrust a civilian commercial operator to haul hazardous chemicals, explosives, what have you, they kind of want to know who's doing it. And so the same thing applies to passengers on these federally controlled aircraft. Ooh, that scotch is a little rough going down. But like I said, people who are freaking out over Real ID being implemented in this way, while I can appreciate your concerns that this is a huge overstep for the U.S. government, no, it's really not. We have people in industries and career fields that undergo way more scrupulous inspections into their lives than what someone getting a Real ID has to go through. When I got my driver's license renewed, again, a commercial driver's license, I had to submit a photo ID, which would be my soon to expire driver's license. I had to bring my social security card and my birth certificate. I had to bring 2 pieces of mail that verified, my residence. Basically, I had to have all of these documents, a photo ID that matches my face generally, documentation that matches my name on my driver's license to who I was born as and proving that I was born in the United States. I had to bring, you know, official mail, not just like a junk mail that has my address on it, but I think I had my electric bill and I had a piece of communication from my bank that had my full name, had my address that matched the address on my driver's license. And this is all used to verify that I am me. This is going to be really important coming up. And my wife, my wife had her license renewed and she just went ahead and did the real ID because, you know, after 6 years, she'd have to get it anyway. So why not just get it now? And the one extra piece of paper that she had to bring showing that she had a reason that her name did not match her driver's license, or her name did not match her birth certificate, was marriage license. A document showing that, oh, look, on this day in 2003, she was married, therefore giving her a reason for her name to change to, oh, look, her husband's last name. And granted, if you've had a ton of marriages and a ton of divorces and your name has changed multiple times, you do have to bring those documents with you showing that, oh, look, my name changed and then I got a divorce and then got married again and my name changed again. So now you follow the chain of evidence that I am who I say I am. It seems really complicated. A total burden on your life if you want a driver's license in any of the 50 states, the District of Columbia, or any U.S. territory. And this is where it gets dumb because I just went through all that about the real ID. What does it take to get a real ID? The implications of having a real ID in, again, traveling on commercial airlines, being able to access secure areas if you are a commercial vehicle operator or a vendor of any sort that even provide snacks to the break room of certain secure areas. It there's a reason why they did it. There's a reason why they wanted to start using this. And it's not to infringe on you. It's not, there's no tracking devices in a real ID. It's just you have been verified as you. End of story. Now, before I go on to talk about the SAVE Act that has everybody on the left losing their ever freaking minds, let me talk to you about coffee. Yes, that's right, coffee. I know I'm a fan of these wonderful amber beverages up above my head, but the one thing that gets me up and going every day is from those little ground up cherry pits from around the tropical world, be they from Sumatra, Africa, Brazil, Mexico, Hawaii, Guatemala, Nicaragua. I don't care if they're beans and they make the beverage called coffee. I love them. I don't care where they're from as long as they taste good when properly roasted, ground up, steeped in hot water for an amazing beverage. And my favorite coffee comes from American Pride Roasters. American Pride Roasters prides themselves with honoring America's traditions and America's heroes and America's founders and honoring other great Americans as well. They are a small company out of Runnels, Iowa that, everything is roasted with hand built machines, mind you. They started off as, you know, a project in a garage, and pretty sure lava is still made in Dave's garage. They have so many great flavors of coffee, whether it's just you're like me and you want your coffee flavored. They do coffee flavored coffee. They have other, you know, different flavors like the Hamilton Burr. It's like a blueberry donut. I mean, if you're into that, it was like a dessert coffee. Hey, by all means, check it out. So many great flavors. Me, I am a fan, like I said, the coffee flavored coffees. Uh, you know, the Washington Crossing the Delaware was a limited release and just chef's kiss. The Calvin Coolidge, the Teddy Roosevelt. For an extra caffeinated kick, I really, really like the Thomas Paine Age of Reason remix with all 100% Robusta beans. Gives you, maybe not quite the rounded flavor of Arabica, but they do have an amazing extra dose of caffeine to it. Check out all their great flavors. Check out their coffee drops, aprcoffee.com. Historically great coffee. All right, now to get into the stupid, the asinine, may I say, the retarded freakouts over the SAVE Act. You see, the left loves government control over everything in your lives unless it comes to securing our voting system. Now, I get it. Federal law allows the when and the how of elections to be run by the states. And many states have used that to have either really strict voter ID laws or your voter ID is okay, you have a pulse, hold a mirror up under the nose, it fogs, you can vote. And so there's a huge disparity in the security of elections from state to state. So again, the federal government operating within the scope of the federal government says, okay, states, you can still pick on what days you have elections, except for this one that is in the Constitution of when you will do this election. That would be the presidential election. It does not tell us, the Constitution does not tell the federal government, nor any other law tell the federal government that it cannot prescribe the documents required to register to vote, and if you will show ID or not at the polling place. So, to prevent fraudulent registrations, to prevent fraudulent voting, in order to get registered to vote, here are the documents you need to verify you are who you say you are. Okay, cool. And guess what? The documents needed under the SAVE Act, it's already passed the House, when it passes the Senate, when it gets signed into law by Donald Trump, It will require the exact same documentation as real ID. I know, it's insane. How can the federal government expect the average person who more than likely has real ID already, because states have been switching over to it for the past 20 freaking years? How can they expect the states that have been doing real ID for the past decade to expect you to be able to provide the documents to register to vote, to be able to have an ID card when you walk into the polling place? How can the federal government expect that of its citizens? Gee, I don't know. We have people who go and they buy guns. You have to have a photo ID when you buy a gun. Did you know that? Because because when you do your background check, you put your driver's license number on the background check. Oh my God. Or your driver's license number, or your ID number if you have just a state photo ID. Isn't that crazy? When you buy a cell phone, guess what you have to have? If you're buying a cell phone through one of the major carriers, you have to have photo ID. How do I know? Because I just bought a cell phone last year for work, and work paid for my job paid for it. They still scanned my ID card, my driver's license. Many states, if you appear under the age of 40 when you go to buy alcohol, and in some stores, regardless of your appearance, and you want to buy alcohol, guess what? They're going to ask for an ID. And you know what? The left loves this whole idea of, well, the only people who can't get an ID to vote are African Americans, and by requiring them to get an ID, this is Jim Crow 2.0. You remember that from Joe freaking Biden just a few years ago? Jim Crow 2.0, 0.973, chocolate chip. Joe Biden did the whole damn thing in it. And now on top of it, because women, oh my God, a woman may have to present, I don't know, if she legally changed her name, not because she got married, I don't want to be Jane Smith anymore. I want to be Fran Drescher. I want to share my name with the nanny, because I love what she has done with the Screen Actors Guild. Guess what? She takes her Jane Smith birth certificate, and then when she goes to register to vote or to get her real ID, and then she brings out the legal name change document that she knew she was going to have when she got a new driver's license the last time after she legally changed her name. So she has it on hand. She brings it and goes, look, here's my old name. Here's the name it changed to. It's on the same document showing that this is legal. Then they go, okay, you're now registered to vote as Fran Drescher. I actually saw someone like, oh my God, this is a pink tax on women, because when I have to go register to vote, I have to have a $20 copy of my birth certificate and I have to have a $12 copy of my marriage license and a $12 copy of my legal name change, and I have to have this, and I have to have this, and then I have to pay for the real ID on top of it, and it cost me $129 in order to be able to register to vote. This is voter suppression, and I will not stand for it. It's like, whoa, 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 hold on, stop. I'm not a smart Matt Jedi, but I'm pretty sure as a responsible adult, you have a copy of your birth certificate that you didn't go to the health department and pick up today. I have a 41-year-old falling apart copy of my original birth certificate. And when I could not find my original birth certificate a few years ago, I had to order one from the state of Texas, and it is put up. It is put up with my original 41-year-old copy of my birth certificate. They are together. They're with my social security card. And guess what? No, it's also with them. My wife's birth certificate from 1980 freaking 3. She has her original birth certificate. She has her social security card. She has a social security card from before she got married. It still has her maiden name on it. It's also put up just in case she freaking needs it for whatever reason. We also have multiple official copies of our marriage license. Why? Oh, because we're responsible adults, and you never know when you're going to need to have such things as a birth certificate or a marriage license. Guess what? We also have all of our children's birth certificates, even the two who have moved out, because, hey, we are going to hold on to them till they decide that they're in a situation where they need their birth certificate. And then when they say, "Hey, do you have my birth certificate?" we will say, "Why, yes, we do. Here it is. Put it up somewhere safe. Do not lose it. If you ever move, ensure this goes personally with you. Don't let movers put it on a vehicle and possibly lose it or destroy it." Because that's what responsible adults do. They have important documents, they keep track of them. People complain, "Well, I have to go get a $120 passport." Um, no, you don't have to get a $120 passport to prove who you are so you can register to vote. If you don't want to go ahead and convert your driver's license to a real ID, go spend $10 at the DMV with your important documents that you should already have on hand as a responsible human being. And just get a state ID that is real ID compliant. I know. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And then you take your real ID. Here's what's going to get crazy. All right. Yeah. You got to follow. Come here close. Come here close. All right. So when you get your real ID, your state issued identification card. It's not a driver's license. It's just a real ID compliant ID card. You know what they do at the DMV? You know what they do? Shh. This is a secret between me and you. Shh. They'll register you to vote right there with all the documents you need for a real ID. I know it's freaking insane. People act like this is such a burden and an inconvenience. It's not. It's not at all. You knock out two birds with one stone. You get your real ID so you can get on an airplane without getting too much hassle at the counter and at security. And you register to vote. And you register to vote in compliance with the freaking SAVE Act while you're getting your freaking real ID. I feel like I'm turning into Lewis Black. I'm pointing the finger just kind of going everywhere. Yeah. Seriously. Everyone on the left freaking out over the SAVE Act, calling it Jim Crow and voter suppression. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's gonna disenfranchise voters. Okay. Again, sneak up here. I'll give you your clothes. Okay. The only people who will be disenfranchised are not the people you think. The people who want to vote, the people who care enough about what's going on in our government will still register to vote. They will jump through whatever hoop they need to. If they have to do X, Y, and Z, they will continue to do X, Y, and Z. It's the people who don't care, the apathetic people who could give a rat's ass about who's running our country. They're not going to register to vote. Frankly, they don't care. And honestly, I don't want people who don't care making decisions about our country, man. It's one thing to be an uninformed voter and you go toe your party line. Well, I grew up as a Republican. I really don't know what's going on, but I'm going to vote for the Republicans. Okay, that's ignorant. Well, man, I was brought up with hippies we think the government should have more control in our lives, man. It's just really weird as it growing up with hippies, but I think the man is the man. We should support the man. We need more of the man, man. So I'm gonna vote for all the Democrats, man. Do you even understand who you're voting for? Crazy hippie Bob. Yeah, no, I don't know about anyone on the ballots, man. I'm too busy getting stoned. Yeah, I'm just gonna go vote for the Democrats, man, because they want to give money to people, man, and it make your lives better by getting all the government involved, man. Okay, that's also ignorant. You know what's more ignorant than that? A person who doesn't know a good gosh darn place they stand on anything, and they just like, I kind of for that, not for that. Who's running for president? Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. See, those are the people who are going to be like, oh, don't really like voting anyway. Gets me out of work early, so I can go do it. But, who cares? Well, I don't have a say at the end of the day. What's one more vote? Those are people that we shouldn't want voting. It's don't get me wrong, it's their right. And sometimes rights come with responsibilities. I mean, when I go and buy a firearm, I have responsibilities. Do I think those responsibilities are unconstitutional that I have to submit to a background check? Absolutely. But until those laws are either struck down by the court or repealed by Congress, and the repeal is signed by whoever the sitting president is, despite my objection to those responsibilities, I will fulfill my responsibilities. If you want to vote in America, you have responsibilities. It's your responsibility to be informed. It's your responsibility to know why you support the Democrats or you support the Republicans or you support the Libertarians or why you're an independent. Just, well, I was brought up this way, so that's the way I'm going to vote. Without having a clue is not being a responsible voter. It's not. Part of being a responsible voter is ensuring that, hey, this is my vote. I want my vote to count for me. Even if, in the great scheme of things, my vote does not change one daggum thing. I want my vote to matter. I want to be 100% sure that it is me voting and not someone pretending to be me. So if I have to jump through an extra couple of hoops to register, I have to go show my ID card to the sweet little old lady working the polling station, then by all means, embrace the responsibility. If you want to be a citizen involved in our country and in our governance, it shouldn't be done haphazard. It shouldn't be done, whatever. It don't matter to me in the long run. That's not how it should be. It should never be how it is. You should 100% know what's going on. Understand those those ballot measures that are being put to the people. Understand who is running. Understand their platform, understand what they believe in. And ensure that you, little Bob Smith in middle of nowhere county, Michigan, have done your part to be informed. And if it takes an extra 5 minutes and taking a couple extra documents with you to go register to vote, do it. We're not asking people to, put a tracker in them. So that way we know where you are from the point you leave your house to the point you arrive at the polling station, how long it took you waiting in line at the polling station, how long it took you to actually fill out your vote and then put it in the ballot box. No one's asking that. No one's even implying that. No one is telling millions of African Americans, Hispanic Americans, women, people who think they're women who really aren't, people who think they're men who really aren't, and people and men who, well, they're just man children. No one is trying to prevent any of them from voting at all. Again, I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, independent, libertarian, or a communist. Well, okay, I kind of care if you're communist. Of course, probably voting for Democrats. So maybe I don't like the Democrats either. Interesting. But anyways, you have responsibilities if you're going to vote in the country. Throwing a hissy fit because our government has decided that, we're going to centralize certain aspects of the election because we believe, and those elected representatives in the Congress, in the Senate, and in the Oval Office believe that there's an issue. Dude, that's how a republic works. We, the people, sent forth our representatives to Washington, D.C., and we gave them the power. We gave them a little bit of our power to use it as stewards of this country. You get mad when the stewards of the country engage in proper stewardship. Proper stewardship is making sure our elections are safe, are secure, that as long as federal law says only American citizens can vote in American elections, regardless of a city ordinance that says, oh, we'll allow non-citizens and illegal aliens to vote. Because what are the odds those non-citizens and illegal aliens are getting a completely separate ballot that will not have an outcome, will not have an effect on state or federal tickets? We don't. We don't know that. I have never seen any of these locations that allow for illegal aliens to vote in illegal aliens and non-citizens, whether they're here legally or not, to vote in local elections. They've never put out a ballot to show what it looks like. I've never seen one. I've never seen the mayor of one of these large cities that offer that stand there with a ballot that goes, look, see, here's what's on the non-citizen ballot that is obviously only local issues. So yes, I am fine with the feds saying that, yeah, we should have a centralized, standardized, codified standard of how you verify who you are getting any sort of state issued ID. The state can make the ID look like anything it wants, but in order to give it, here are the rules. Here is what the people will provide when they do it. Beyond that, do what you will. Your own expiration dates, your own design, how you code everything on that driver's license. Up to you. But they have to have these things. I'm fine with that. I am fine with the federal government saying that voting is right in the state. But we're going to codify what you need to verify your identity when you register to vote. Anytime government takes an action like that, it is a stepping on of lower rights. But sometimes it's less about stepping on lower rights. It's about stepping on an abuse of privilege. The states have been given a privilege to say, hey, we're going to butt out of how you do it. But keep in mind, there's nothing in the Constitution that says we have to stay butted out of everything. So here's some rope. You can either go climb or you can hang with it. Choose wisely. And enough states have decided to choose unwisely that they're now dangling upside down by their hoo-haws, wondering how they got their nuts in a bind with the feds. So now the feds are staying in. It's like, all right, you had your shot and you decided to dangle yourselves by your nut-sacks. Good job. Now we have to get involved, cut you down, and see if we can un-F your mess. I about said something untoward. All right, so that's going to do it for me. Again, very, very big thank you to the listeners, the viewers on the live stream. listeners on the podcast, viewers on YouTube, thank you so very much. It means a lot that you come and hang out with me, either live or later on. It really does. I just want to say again, if you're new to watching this on YouTube, please be sure to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and all those crazy YouTube things. Just smash that bell. No, don't go smashing things. Just click it. Click it nicely. Nope. Put your fist. I see you over there. Stop it. Stop. Do not smash it. Just click it nicely. Yep. Very good. Very good. Good job, Jimmy. Appreciate that. All right. And if you're a listener, if you're a podcast listener, please be sure I ask the same 4 things every week. Number 1, please, pretty please, subscribe or follow. After you've done that, please rate the show. I'm looking for 5 stars. I'll accept 4. 3 and below. We need to have a conversation. Hit me up on the Twitters at Fake Tyler Morgan there. DM me. They're open. We'll talk about why you think I deserve a 3 or less. And if you're just going to be insulting and mocking, please make me laugh when you do it. If I laugh at your mockery, we will be friends, believe it or not. I have a great sense of humor. If you're just being a jackwagon, I will, again, viciously mock you on the Twitters. It's what I do. I enjoy doing it. Please, please, please find a reason to not bring joy to my life. Once you have rated it, please write a review, say something nice, maybe fluff a little bit. Again, same with if you're DMing me about why you think I deserve only a 1-star rating. If you're going to leave a bad review, again, make it pithy. As Bill O'Reilly used to say, make it pithy. If I can look at it and laugh and go, oh man, that's funny. I can accept a good roast, believe it or not. But if you're just like, he thinks of himself, he talks too much about himself, he want to be Alex Jones, man, I will continue to mock you for years. Years after you say dumb insult. Again, once you have subscribed, rated, and reviewed, please share this episode or the podcast in general with someone who you think will enjoy it, or send someone you think will absolutely drive them bonkers. Please use me as your tool to drive someone bonkers. I love, hate, and discontent. It makes the world go round. Thank you so very much for listening. And as always, I have to reach around and find all the right buttons. Stay relentless. The Tyler Morgan Show is a relentless daring media production. The Tyler Morgan Show is supported by its listeners. To support the show, go to ko-fi.com/Tyler Morgan Show to donate there, or relentlessdaring.com and hit the donate button at the top of the page to set up your donation. All music used in the Tyler Morgan Show is used with permission from purpleplanet.com, link in the show notes. 2 Timothy 1:7.